Go ahead, Dad.
All right, good. How you guys doing? Another live question and answer, and welcome. In case people don't know what this is all about, this is kind of a backup for all of the other things that we do, like our online classes. We have somebody that just signed up for a Shellback class. I bet she's on there now, Patrick, because I told her, Dorothy, to tune in. These classes are designed, this live class talk is designed to back those classes up if you have questions. Also on the YouTube videos, we answer questions from the YouTube videos, but if somebody's on YouTube now, they can ask questions. Also on the Broadway forum, that kind of runs on itself, but oftentimes people can, we follow up, which I'm about to do in a little while on our Facebook, which is a great resource for you guys. And lastly, the Upholstery on Broadway website. I had somebody call me and say, or emailed me and said, hey, where can I get supplies? And I said, what about Upholstery on Broadway? They were looking for the people that I use. But, in all fairness, with all of the work that we do, and I'm not being a crybaby right now, but we have over 400 videos, Patrick. How many videos on YouTube?
Almost 5.
Hours and hours and hours and hours of free viewing on YouTube. And somebody wanted to know innocently, I think, where can I get supplies? Well, as a way of supporting us, and we've had our regular people support us, I know. You can order supplies. Our overseas people, not so much because the cost is just extraordinary shipping costs. But for those local, for those in the United States, please check out our website. It's kind of a way to reward the, give the carrot to the rabbit, we do a lot of work, and we have a few rabbits around here. So please go on Upholstery on Broadway, check out our store on there and see what we have. I haven't checked it out. I did want to bring up Mary Kay Kenny. She's been a great supporter. Mary Kay is one of our DIY people who believe it or not, you guys.
And she posted one. So,
she did.
Yeah.
But, Patrick, I don't know if you remember, she bought our kit. Our kit's the most expensive thing on our website, I think, at $400.
No, horse hair costs more.
That, and I think the clinch it, too.
The clinch it, but the kit, it comes with complete electronic and hard copy instructions, right, Patrick?
Yep.
And it has a frame, and it has all the supplies in it that you need to build up an ottoman right from A to Z, and we go over all of the methods, and she did that. Then she took a class, and I could see that she came to the class well prepared with those skills. She had the skills. She did a very difficult chair that was very hard to hand tie because of the arms and everything that went around, an antique chair. She did an excellent job on it, and she did a good job on the ottoman. So please check that out if you're a beginner or even an intermediate. I don't think Diana has to worry about that. But even for testing, if you have a skill level that's even intermediate, I think it would help you. But anyhow, so check that out. Upholstery on Broadway. The editing that our online classes, I think
You mention this every time.
We've heard on from Esquire Upholstery, from Diana, that those are the best value, and she uses those. I think they use those, right, Patrick?
Yeah.
So those are good value. I could tell you that teaching today, I've been running around today. I'm kind of had a lot of coffee. I have a coffee machine now at the shop, so I can have more coffee, which is really essential because I had 2 classes today, you guys. I got in the shop early to do some work. I had to finish up a chair. My class came in at 9:30. That went to 9:30 to 11:30. I took a little bit of a break. Before I knew it, there was another class coming in on me. The shop's, Arlington is about 24 miles away from here. And then after I left there, I had to run out here. I had to go to the post office to return some fabric. And then I'm here. Okay, so I'm busy. I don't mind being busy. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the classes today. If you guys are watching me from around the Boston area, we have some great classes coming up. We're full speed ahead, right, Patrick?
Yeah.
With these classes.
I think we have them scheduled out until end of summer, don't we?
We're going through 2 major school systems with the next set of classes. One is the Arlington school systems, the Arlington Adult Ed, and the Brookline Adult Ed, which is a huge program over that is a suburb of Boston. It might as well be Boston because they get a lot of Boston people taking those classes. But we have in one class, we have a therapist, we have a doctor, and we have a lawyer in one class. It's not a joke. It sounds like it's the beginning of a joke, but it isn't. 3 great, really successful people who are looking just for right brain work, I think, and they really enjoy the work, and they challenge me with the questions that they ask, and I think that they're being challenged themselves, and that's what they like. They're highly motivated, and they're in the class, and they're really enjoying it. So, as well as we are advertising our own classes, so through our own website. So if you're local to the Boston area, you want a night out, you want to meet new people, you want some fun, you want to do a project, you want to save money. I'm not saying that everybody can save money, but people do save money by taking the classes. So check it out at Upholstery on Broadway, right, Patrick?
Yep.
All of this stuff can be found on Upholstery on Broadway, the store, the online classes, the in-house classes. Patrick and Michaela have worked very hard to set us up. I mean, we are set up like a major corporation. Even though we're a small outfit, Patrick I could never have done the IT stuff behind this. I mean, I would have still been working it by candlelight and a treadle machine for my sewing machine. No, seriously, he's got the constant editing. I mean, I don't think I give him enough credit. I don't think I do. You guys probably don't realize it, but there's a lot behind this, and they deserve the credit. But anyhow, is there any questions, comments, or should I stop talking and get to business?
We're good.
Okay.
Malcolm's here.
Hi, Malcolm. So Diana posts a great video, a great picture on Facebook. About a week ago, she says, we posted some photos of a brown faux leather Overman lounge chair that came into the shop. Here's the photo of the completed shell. So she went to a fabric on this, you guys, and I really like the fabric she used. I don't think you can appreciate that fabric. You'll see the next couple of pictures are really exquisite. Okay, you got that, right? Got an idea what she's doing. These are very difficult chairs to do, you guys.
Yeah, here Deborah from Idaho. We got Randy checking in.
Hey, Deborah. Hi, Randy.
Yeah,
You
we're
guys
showing-
did a great
yeah.
job here with showing your chair. I'm really excited about this because this is just showcasing your skill levels out there in Wisconsin. Esquire Upholstery in Wisconsin, I love giving them a shout out. If you guys are in the Wisconsin area, you guys should just definitely look to see what they're doing. I'm telling you, a lot of upholsterers don't want to showcase their stuff like this. This is like hanging your laundry out, right? This is really tells me that they're confident of their work, and they were good upholsterers out there in Wisconsin, and they've been a good friend of ours for a long time.
Yeah, Randy has a good question actually.
Content that they have
About the online, the in-person
Yeah,
class.
he can ask it. I can answer that.
Well, how many? So by the end of the class, he wants to know how many people have survived the class. How many drop off? Pretty much.
All of them, really. I mean, there's a couple. Well, it's funny he should ask this. I have a woman who's a very busy in an office. I think she's an assistant or a paralegal to an attorney, something like that. Really, they're very busy. She signed up for the class, was there for the first class, and she's missed the last 3, Patrick.
Yeah.
And she emailed, and she signed up for a previous class, and she couldn't take it. She had a chair that we finished. Remember that chair that I finished for the students?
Oh, right.
So we worked something out, Randy. I took the price of the class off the chair. I think we charged $1,200 for this particular chair. She paid $500. I took $500 off, and the balance was what I finished the chair, which was a lot of work. She took the class again, and now she's got another chair, and I have to do the same thing. I really feel bad for her because she really enjoyed the classes. I tell you, I work hard in these classes. I really do, and I want people to be happy. I want to try to work with all skill levels. I mean, today was a very challenging day because we have different skill levels. People are nervous. They pay a lot of money for their own fabric, so they're really especially nervous cutting fabric. So I mean, I'm like, and sometimes I feel like a kindergarten teacher in some ways, and then I have to go all the way up to advanced, like with my other class. So I'm really challenged, but I like it. You can see I enjoy teaching. Especially the in-house with multiple people. Jimmy's fun, but when I have 6 people and they're all at different skill levels and they have different furniture, it can be challenging. So some people don't finish, Some people, life gets in the way with a lot of people. Their jobs get in the way. Things come up. And so right now my biggest challenge now with these classes is that people want to do makeup classes, and we firmly have said no makeup classes. And I'm kind of letting my guard down a little bit. All of a sudden, there are 3 people that want 5. One lady missed the first 2 classes. She didn't know what the sign-up day was. And she's asking me, so I just finally just said, I can't do this. I can't keep track of makeup classes. They're really hard. It's really hard to reschedule people into these classes. It really is. So we just have to be firm that way. It's one thing I have to ask my students to bear with me. If they miss a class, they miss a class. There's nothing I can do about it. Because we're running these classes 8-week consecutive, So it was a good question. So people, I would say 50% of the people save money. It depends, again, on their skill level. I have no idea. People call me, do you think I can finish? I don't know. You could be a savant with upholstery, then you could do it in one night. Or you could be somebody that, has never picked up a hammer. And we have all types in between. So it's challenging that way too. But I like it. You could tell. I'm up for it, right? But I think what Randy, if I'm not mistaken, he's asking a question here because he's thinking about operating or running these classes, right, Patrick? I'm getting that feeling. I've been wanting somebody, in all the years we've been doing this, 10, 12 years we've been doing these YouTube videos, Patrick.
Right, and 30 years of classes.
Well, no, I've been pushing people out there in YouTube land and who have been following us, like Janine. Janine's close, I think. I really want them. And Blair's a young guy down in Alabama. He's got some energy. I want to see him. I want to see him
dancing?
I want to see him teach. I want somebody to pick up the baton and teach upholstery. I think they won't regret it. I really would encourage you guys out there to do it. You'd be surprised what it will add to the dimension, not dementia, the dimension that will add
that too.
to your. I'll tell you, for instance, like Mondays are really slow in upholstery worlds. I don't know about your world, but in the Boston area, it's really slow. Today was exciting. Patrick has a sandwich board we put out front. I have lights.
No actual sandwiches are off.
It says free classes are running now. I see people looking in. What's going on in there? A few people walking by. We're in a mixed commercial use. We don't have high traffic, but when the barber shop is there, we have some traffic. But the fact is, on a dead Monday, which today was, I created a huge buzz for one day, and you never know where that ends up. People will come later and say, "I saw your sandwich board out there. I wouldn't want to come in, but you'd be surprised at what can happen." And I love it. I think you guys should look into it if you want, or take a class. So the next hit, speaking of Mary Kay Kenny, I brought up Mary Kay a little earlier. I am super impressed by this job that she did. She had an antique rocking chair. Now, I'll let the photos speak for themselves. Do you have that up there, Patrick, or do I have to show this?
Yeah, show it, because I don't have time to get
I have to show it.
Never have time to get them on.
She says, finish the rocking chair, ! Just needs decorative tacks, but the owner will apply those if he wants them, she said, which I think that's great. Thanks for the help, another exclamation mark. And here's a link to a short video. Patrick, she has...
Yeah, so go on there and check that out,
But
guys.
can they see this now? I'm going to put this up. Look at the job she did, you guys. Now,
Maybe I can put the link in the chat if anybody wants.
for all of you people who are experienced by the way, you got a blinking microphone there, Patrick.
Oh, great.
The one on the table. The one right there.
Oh, no, that's supposed to be like that.
So for all of you seasoned upholsterers out there who could see this, you can see how symmetrical she has her springs. You can see it. I mean, she did an extraordinary job. Mary Kay is the one I mentioned earlier that bought the kit on the Upholstery on Broadway site, and she practiced before she got to this point, the hard part. Now, one of the hard things about this chair is that she had to strip it down all the way and then rebuild it. She had a lot of advice. I gave her a lot of advice on it. But the problem with rocking chairs and slip seats is they move while you're trying to upholster them, right? It's like there's a joke there, something about a rolling stone gathers no moss or something like that, but does a rock, it's not, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you can secure it, there's ways of securing a rocking chair, but inevitably it always seems to lose its secure part and then rock on you while you're trying to upholster it, right? She did a really good job. And then
There's the video, guys. If
Did
wanna check
Patrick
that out.
post
I think
the
it's
link?
it's a slideshow of photos.
guys should check it out. I mean, I can't, when Mary Kay or somebody like, I encourage, Randy's been great with us and Diana's been great about posting content, but this is the type of content that we don't always have time to do our own content, Patrick, with jobs.
Wow.
Because they come and go so fast,
It's like,
right?
like it's the come and go, or it's like the ribbon chair where
Yeah.
we kind of have to wait for a little bit.
So when people post content, it really helps these question and answers shows, and I really appreciate it. And
So
then,
Brandy, follow it up if you want to.
yeah, go ahead.
The local tech school is looking to hire an upholstery instructor, 12-week term, 3-hour class, max 16 students. That's a big
Oh
one.
my God.
Yeah, and not weeks. That's a. I don't know about 12 weeks.
That
I
would
mean,
kill me. Don't let them do that to you. Is that what he's considering? Randy's considering?
Get them down. We do 8. Get them down to 8 weeks.
Well, in 3 hours, I'll tell you that actually.
Yeah,
we do 2.5 now. So
How many days do they want? 2 a week. Hope
Oh.
it's only 1.
they're gonna kill the poor guy, whoever it is. No, Randy, are you thinking about this? If you're young, I don't even know how old he is. But if he's younger, if he's got 20 years, if he's 20 years younger than I am, if he's in his 40s, he can do it. But that is hard
1 night
work.
a week.
That's hard work. And 16 people is really a lot. It really is.
We didn't even have that when we had the big space over there.
12 is the most that I've ever done in anywhere. And 12, you probably need an assistant because you need to keep people busy, and you definitely need to do pin tacking instruction, by the way. You can't have 12 staple guns going at the same time. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. That's a tough. I hope they're paying you $100 an hour if they're going to be doing that. But we have them structured, right, Patrick? 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
2.5 hours.
Yep. I might say in the price deal.
Nope.
$500.
$500.
And that includes the reason why. Maybe we should probably explain why they're.
Well, we include some supplies in there.
Right.
Not cushions. Cushioning's different. Just some light supplies like tacks and cotton and things like that.
Oh, Randy's your age.
Well, Randy,
Yeah.
if you're thinking about taking that, you better bring Diana with you. Both of you better teach it. I bet the both of you could do it easily, But what that would do is, if you're looking to expand your business, think about it this way. If you can do it, 16 people, you've got a captive audience, Esquire Upholstery's teaching this class, you're guaranteed to increase your business if that's what you're looking for. And you become the experts in the Wisconsin area or the tri-state. I think they have a tri-state out there, Patrick? Tri-state area?
I thought Tri-State was around New York, Connecticut.
No, I think the multiple tri-states throughout the country, but I'd say he's regional. I'd say he could be a regional, if he could expand his area by teaching this class, no sweat. And he could advertise it on his own site and things like that. I mean, the potential there is great, trust me on that one. So Brad posts a nice, he has got some nice pictures here, Patrick. Brad says, I have a question. I have refinished this Empire Revival chair. Now I need to start the upholstery. After I tie the springs, I need roll edge. I believe 1 inch for the front. Do I need one on the sides? Thanks for your help. So what I recommended with Mary Case, she had a similar chair, hers was a rocker. I recommended, you don't have to put the roll on the back. Sometimes that's really hard to put on the back, and usually you end up hitting your rail there if you're using a hammer. The staple gun's very awkward. You don't necessarily need it. Sometimes I put a big roll on the front and some small rolls on the side. I don't always maintain a big roll on the sides, but you definitely need something on the sides. Hope that answers his question. Okay, but that's a nice looking chair, isn't it? I have a rocking chair at the shop, not this shop, and it must be mahogany. It weighs a ton, and I think what they do on some of the rocking chairs is weigh it down with lead to keep the chair from falling over backwards. It's a counterweight. The thing weighs a ton. Patrick, have you lifted that yet?
No.
It's got to be 300 pounds. Any questions? Diana has a good question here.
He said the good thing is you're an employee of the tech school, so you probably got like a W-2 or something.
And that's also another feather in your cap. You're actually brought into the check will read the vocationals. Yeah, it's a great feather in your cap. It really is. You're a teacher. That adds a lot of credibility to your business. It really does. I mean, you know how many people have said to me, I figured you'd be a good upholsterer because you teach your trade. That's what they say. It actually is a feather in your cap. I would encourage you, Randy. I would love to hear the success of that if you did that. Diana says, does anyone have an efficient way of removing staples from a groove? I have been using the groove stapler lifter that is the photo. It works sort of. Any other ideas? I tell you, sometimes you're better off leaving the staples in a groove if it means you're going to ruin the wood around it. And I know that sounds like a cop-out, but really, I have left staples in or even hammered them back in with the chisel, in a careful way. Chisels are used. I actually use chisels sometimes for that type of work. And sometimes, so when you're stapling, you might have to staple on the side of the groove because the staple that they put in, the disadvantage you have in is, I don't know if you're aware of it, but that groove is put in with a special staple gun. It's a very narrow-headed staple gun that's shooting those staples in. So it's very unfair for anybody coming along like us upholsterers, to try to remove those staples. Sometimes it's virtually impossible without destroying the lip. And the lip is very important, especially if it's a finished lip, which I can't tell if there's a finished lip there, but usually there is a finished piece of wood that the lip, and that's the whole idea of a welting that goes inside it, is to give you a beautiful line against the wood. So when you have fabric and wood come together like that in such a crisp line, that's what makes it appealing. So this is a problem in the upholstery world, and I don't know, you're talking about 90 pounds of pressure to put a staple into a groove that requires the same amount of pressure to do it, if not more, to take it out. You're using whether you're using a staple remover or a hammer, you're still required to use that. There's still that pressure or that pounds per square inch that's needed to take it out. And I think it's more. Randy, I'm not a physicist, but this is the problem you have. So then you get into the second or third time you're upholstering this with staples, it becomes a real problem, right? A real issue. But if it's only the first time or second time that's being upholstered, you should be able to leave some of these and even tack them back in with the chisel, or hammer them back in with the chisel and a mallet. I hope that helps. Anyhow, that's that. Any questions or comments?
Well, no, nothing yet. He said not finished wood, actually.
So that's even better. That's better for you. Some people have. No, I'd be careful with that. I'd take my advice. Try to get most of them out as you can. The loose ones, when you pull the fabric, sometimes the loose ones come up to the surface a little bit, and you can take those out. But for the ones that are stuck in there, forget it. Take a chisel and a hammer and be done with it. Just hammer them back if you have to. And like I said, when you're upholstering, you can take your even our snub nose that we have, our wide staple guns, and turn the gun a little bit to get the staple into the side of the groove. That might be the solution. So that's it with the Facebook. Keep the Facebook things coming, man. The comments on Facebook and the content. For Mary Kay to post a video, to take the time, Patrick, to post a video on that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I wish everybody could do that. That would really add content to that, right?
Yeah, even a slideshow like she did, it's still
slideshows
the progression of the chair.
Yeah, she's been terrific. Now we go on to the YouTube, and the YouTube gets these. I hope people realize we don't answer the questions on the YouTube, Patrick. I mentioned this before, but we always answer them.
I posted a little notification today so people will remember that we always answer on the forum, at least. I know you're talking about YouTube.
Well, can you get that on YouTube?
I could put a post, but it won't be pinned anywhere, so it'll be
That's
missed.
too bad. I mean, on every video we could say, by the way, most of these comments have been answered on live question and answer.
I'll put it in the description.
But the problem is, people, how many of these have we done, live question and answer? Sometimes you can't search through every live question and answer. That would be boring.
Yeah.
Right? How do you do that? How do you research that? When do you know when something's mentioned? I think that's a bit of a problem, but what can we do about it? I don't know. The American Victorian sofa, stripping and measuring for fabric. How many yards for this project? I believe on that, I think that if I recall, let's see, 2, 4, 6, I'd say about 8 yards on that. Sarah says, the Upholstery Show Live, catching up on some of the question and answer videos I missed. So here's somebody that actually watches the question and answer, the repeats, Patrick.
That's good.
I have notes in my chair's settees too, but more along the lines of, sorry, I did my best. So she's leaving notes for the next upholsterer who, in 30 years, the next upholsterer could be upholstering on Mars. Who knows, Patrick? Or maybe in a spaceship somewhere. Or so she leaves notes like, sorry, I did my best. Or 2020, we all found new hobbies. Someday, when I'm confident enough in my ability, I will write my name on the notes. I think that's terrific. Comedy is part of it. Speaking of comedy, where's Jimmy? Jimmy's taking a little bit of a break, though, isn't he, Pat?
Yeah, he was exhausted after that wing show.
He was tired, but I have to tell you, Jimmy is not at an easy time. Jimmy is a supervisor on a major transit. I can't mention it. A major transit.
I know you've already mentioned in the past.
Yeah, but
Sorry for that.
this major transit, what do they call it, line or agency, in a major metropolitan area.
I think you just say, you put two together, they know we're from Boston. They know where the subway is.
Well, I can't mention it because of what I'm about to say. Has experienced some extreme difficulties with this cold snap that we had. Listen, you guys, Mount Washington in New Hampshire, which isn't far from here, registered a minus 108 degrees. Did you hear me?
Yeah, I saw
minus.
that.
Now, our area, it went down to, with the wind chill, minus 50. And then the next day, almost, it was 50 degrees. That's a 100-degree swing, Patrick.
It's crazy.
100-degree swing. So one day you could be dead, and the next day you could be, out shirtless. It was crazy, the temperature. But poor Jimmy, because he's one of the higher-ups, had to deal with it. And then they had a major accident. It's always something going on with this place. And he's been busy, so he's taking a break. However, Jimmy is going to be I have him involved in a new part of my business that I don't mind sharing with you guys that takes tremendous carpentry skills and upholstery skills. And it dawned on me that Jimmy has really amazing carpentry skills and I have really good upholstery skills. So we're going to combine our forces and we're going to start a whole new segment of our business, which I'll talk to you after I do this. I'm really excited about it, though. So stay tuned. This is what they call what do they call this, Patrick, in the business of movies or television? Teasing. This is how people watch the news. They tease you with the next story, right? I don't like doing that. I think it's stupid or maybe not nice. I don't know. Is it nice to tease people with that, Patrick?
No, I got the excitement going.
Yeah, so Sarah says, she left, thank you, Sarah. Keep them coming, man. We like these comments on another upholstery show. Love hearing where everyone is from. I'd be so curious as to what my fellow DIYers do for their day job. Well, I can tell you, I mentioned it earlier, I had an RN in the class today. I had a scientist in a class the other day, Patrick. She's a scientist.
Oh, that's cool.
I had a lawyer, I had a doctor, and we have a couple of therapists. So the other day when the scientist was working, she's doing a really good job too. She's a young lady, and she's a scientist. And I said, I could never be a scientist. And she said, why? I said, because scientists can go a whole lifetime without ever finding an answer to a particular problem they're working. She says, that's the definition of a science. She's shaking her head. Yeah, that's what it's like. I said, I could never do that. I said, I said, look, you're doing a job. You're going to be done with the job. And she says, well, that's why I like the class. I said, I could never be a scientist. I knew a guy. I was working on a project. I won't tell you what it was, believe it or not. How did Kevin, as an upholsterer, get involved with a scientist? I won't go into it, but this was a project where there's no answer. There's no ending. there's no answer. There's never ever going to be an answer to this particular thing. And I said to the science, I can't. The realization was when I was talking to the scientist about this project, and he said no, there won't be an answer. I said no, I can't do this. I had to back away from the project. I said no, I need if I'm going to commit to this, at the end I need to know there's an answer. No, there won't be an answer. I said, well, I'll see you later. But that's what scientists do. So that what I equated it with this young lady, I said, it's like being in a maze, being a mouse in a maze there's no doors. You're going to be going around and around and around. She said, oftentimes science is like that. So you maybe they rely on the next generation or a generation after that to come up with the answers, Patrick. But that's the way it is. That's what I like about my job. That's why we get such a varying crowd. And Randy, Diana, I'll encourage you, and anybody out there, you're going to be meeting some fascinating people, believe it or not, who take upholstery classes. It might not be what you think. This is a good question that Sarah has. I mean, we get all types of people. And I brought some real creativity out of people. I'll tell you a story. You won't believe this, Patrick. Hope I don't bore people. But I had a student who was he was a carpenter, I think, so a contractor. And we get contractors who take the class. And he started mentioning to me about, he started to open up a little bit. He was really, really excited about the project that he was doing. I can't remember what it was. This was a few years ago. He started to open up about some things in his life that he had government clearances that were higher than most politicians because he was a genius at a certain, I think he was an IT guy in another life, Patrick. But he went into carpentry. So he had this real skill in IT and also carpentry. And then he started talking about, which really my eyes started to open up. He was talking about these wooden mushrooms. Michaela, you'll be interested in this. Wooden mushrooms. And he showed me a picture and I almost dropped. Because you know what, I tell you something, upholsterers and people who are working with their hands, people who are artists, recognize talent when they see it, almost like instantaneously. When I looked, he showed me a Polaroid of what he did. And I almost dropped to the floor because what I was looking at was like Michelangelo's work or something. And Michaela has this type of talent too. I'm going to give her a shout out. I've seen some of her work and I had the same reaction to her work. I'm looking at it and I'm going, I can't believe the detail. I can't believe the detail. She's got an amazing talent. As a matter of fact, a shout out to Michaela right now. What's the name of her website, Patrick? Creative something? What is it?
Creature Nest.
Creature Nest. Guys should check out some of her work. So this guy, getting back to this guy, shows me this picture of these wooden mushrooms that he made, right? And I said, please, I would be honored if you brought these into class. So the next week he brings them in, and I have to tell you, I've never seen art like this. I really have. I've never. He's like this guy that's hidden though. Nobody will know him unless he promotes himself or something. But this is like world class art. I can't even describe it. The wood, he made it out of wood. You guys listening to me, and it's hollow. They were hollow, and they were finished, in a beautiful wood finish. But I can't even begin to describe it except that they were the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Anyhow, so yeah, you teach a class, you're going to get all these people in the class. They're going to love it. You're going to love it. So let's go on to the next one. See, I have enthusiasm, but the enthusiasm is real. It's authentic. And I'm talking about people in the past who have taken the class. We've had some really interesting people in our class, and that's what you'll draw in. Sarah, again, she says on the Upholstery Show Live, she must have been watching these one after another, Patrick.
Yeah.
Before I get to this, any questions or comments?
No, we're caught up.
I can't be that interesting that people just want to hear me talk, Patrick. Come on. But you notice that the show has changed a little bit without Jimmy. We like Jimmy's show is fun, and we go back and forth. But give me a chance to talk, and I'll do it, man. But I hope that it's entertaining and also well informing too. Please, I don't want to be a bore. Just let us know. Be honest, Randy. Be honest. Sarah says another question and answer. I have no idea which one she's referring to. Maybe if you add a note, we had just talked about this. Here's what she says. Maybe if you add a note to your other videos in the description sharing the the question and answer. I am in the tub chair class now, and even if I don't ask anything, you answer a question I didn't know that I had. I'm not sure if I follow her, but I think it has something to do
She's
with
saying that you answer stuff without even just it gets answered.
okay. With
so
the tub chair class. The tub chair class is an online class, Patrick.
Yep.
Online.
That was tub chair. That was Michelle's, I think. Right?
That's right. So these classes, what's an interesting thing about our classes is they're timeless, right? They're timeless, right?
Yeah.
The next one is Divergent Integral. It says how to upholster Biedermeier Part 2. I have a couple of Biedermeier chairs, but the difference is the wooden edges in the front and sides are slightly curved in the vertical direction, which just makes it harder. How does one cut the fabric for those? Even with a very sharp knife, I can't seem to get a nice clean cut in the curvy parts. I honestly don't know exactly what we're talking about here, but cutting is one of the hardest things for people to do, even people who are engineers and very smart people. We had somebody today who was struggling with cutting because we have a video that she might want to go to he or she, the video that we have about cutting posts around post, Patrick.
Yep.
Check that on YouTube. That's the best advice I can give you. We have addressed this problem on videos. We can do more of this too. We will. S. Penna, we've gotten a lot of comments on the live shows, Patrick, which is really interesting. This is just lately. What do you think that is?
Well, Sarah said, I walked past my husband and he just said and you just said she must have been watching this one after another, and he just laughed so hard. He always catches me binging you on YouTube.
Uh-oh. Well, that's good. Well, we appreciate it, and I hope that there's enough content in there for you to learn. And it's all about, I'm very generous with my teaching and learning. People say, I have upholsterers that have been mad at me. You're giving all our secrets away. And sometimes, there used to be a comic years ago. He's the Unknown Comic, Patrick. This is before your time. And he used to wear a paper bag over his head with the two cutouts for his eyes and his nose. And he used to be the Unknown Comic.
Yeah, like the magician one, too.
Yeah, the Unknown Magician. Maybe I should be the Unknown Upholsterer, but it's too late now.
Too late for that,
But you know what? There was a huge gap in the upholstery upholstery teaching. There was when manufacturers just overwhelmed the market with new furniture. A lot of upholsterers went out of business. And a lot of them took their knowledge with them away. A lot of them are passed. So I don't have a problem with teaching my trade. I think it only enhances my abilities and makes me a better upholsterer when there's competition anyhow. So I'll keep teaching. If you guys want to keep us going with patronizing our website, Upholstery on Broadway, taking our online classes and taking our in-house classes. Like I said, if you're local to the Boston area, even as far as New Hampshire, people have come to the class. So we would be a tri-state: Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, actually Vermont. I think Vermont's a little bit out of the reach, Patrick. And I think Maine is out of the reach because you have to go through New Hampshire to get to Maine. So I'd say try. I would say
Connecticut.
I don't know about Connecticut. What do you think?
Yeah,
you're right. Connecticut, Rhode Island, and New Hampshire, right?
Yeah.
That would be a quad state if you include Massachusetts. But anyhow, I definitely miss Jimmy.
This is the fun.
I think this is from Jimmy. I think this is his
secret account,
pseudonym. I definitely miss Jimmy. I think you should have some Jimmy fan items on the online shop. Coffee cups or T-shirts with his face on it. Camo T-shirts, mind you. I would be saying, have you been drinking already? I'd buy that. S. Pennas.
All right,
So,
Michaela, we gotta start designing those.
I told you, Jimmy has a fan. I know he has at least one person in his fan club. Oh, it's not really a person, though, Patrick.
Oh, yeah, it was a dog.
Remember the dog? Maybe that could be a good T-shirt. That would be an excellent T-shirt. You see a dog's tail hitting a door, right? And you say, knock, knock, it's Jimmy's fan club.
Oh, dude.
Oh, that's bad. Is Jimmy on there watching, by the way?
Probably. He's probably destroyed his computer.
He just threw his hammer through the. Now he's a good sport. Jimmy is a good sport. You got to admit.
Yes, yes.
So the last YouTube is from Randy, and by the way, I don't pre-read these. So if it's a bad comment, which we do get occasionally, Patrick takes great offense to those.
No, I don't. Are you kidding?
He likes to tease me, actually. That's fine. I could be a boy, I know that. Randy says on the Upholstery Show Live, you ask about answering YouTube comments in the comments. Yes, it is great to answer the question at length in live question and answer because you can give more details. There you go, Patrick. So people have to know the rules, right, Patrick? They have to know that if they're posting on YouTube or watching YouTube, if they don't know us enough to go to the live question and answer, that means that maybe they're just a one-timer to the station anyhow, right?
Right.
So if they don't know, they don't know. Leaving a short, if that is possible, answer. And he knows that it's kind of hard to keep up with these things. Answer in the comments is also good because the answer is then associated with that question for as long as the video is around. Right, Patrick? Even if that answer is, this will be covered in the upcoming question and answer, and the date. He's got date in parentheses. That's your job, my friend. I can't keep up with that. That's beyond me to keep up with that, but if you have time.
And Randy says, if you're an Irishman, you come out of the womb talking.
Yeah, that's true. And I did that on a womb chair. Hey, maybe we should have a womb chair that I sit on. And if you guys know what womb chairs, one time we had so many womb chairs that looked like a maternity ward in the shop. Remember that,
One after
Patrick?
the next, yeah.
We had like 4 of them in the
And
shop.
we'll go a year without seeing one.
Yeah. It looked like a maternity ward. That's my joke of the day, anyhow. So before we leave, any more questions or comments? I did want to talk about Jimmy and I. We're going to be Jimmy doesn't even know this, by the way. We're going to be joining forces to we're going to become specialists in the Boston area. They have these specialists in New York, but we want to be the go-to specialist about reducing upholstered furniture to get them into places where they wouldn't fit. Usually it's a panic situation, so we're going to have to it's a panic situation because somebody buys a new piece of furniture, they hire a moving company to bring the furniture into an apartment building, and they can't get it in the door. And we get the call. It's like it'd be kind of like Upholstery 911 because what they're doing is they need it done quick. The movers in the area could be a mover from outside the area, and I think that with Jimmy's schedule the way it is, we're going to be able to provide this service. It has to be a really fast service though, and it has to be different or on the side of what we normally do. It can't interfere with my work. So I'm thinking about on Fridays and Saturdays to do this, to prep the work for Jimmy to do his woodwork, and then I come back in and I finish it, something like that. But between the two of us, I think we're going to do a pretty good job and hopefully bring in a little bit of extra money to the shop, which we need. So that's what we're going to plan. We always, in business, you really always have to be thinking about what's the next thing. You can't rest on your laurels. I know people who have done that. I know people who have gotten their 5 minutes of fame and try to expand on that for a lifetime. You can't do that, you guys. You have to really be creative. Hey, it's getting slow on a Monday, teach 2 classes, not 1 class, teach 2 classes, things like that. Oh, wow, what's this YouTube video that came up? My son wants to do it. Okay, do that. Online classes, why not try that for a little while? We'll do that. I mean, it's countless, the creativity that you need to keep the ball rolling. We had, right, Patrick, December, we had 2 slow weeks in December, right, Patrick?
Yeah, we had a good week.
We had 1 good week. We had a mediocre week, and then because we track by the week.
Sorry, I just read a call.
Go ahead, read it.
You have to film it. New Upholstery 911.
We'll show Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy thought he was safe with the clinch it, but then all of a sudden the clinch it backfired.
We'll see Jimmy with a chainsaw cutting up furniture.
Before Jimmy knew it, he was clinched. His stomach, his shirt was clinched to his stomach. It's always going to be him. He's the victim, and I'm the narrator. Remember that.
I wish he was here right now to defend himself.
I know the point. No, he wouldn't be able to. He'd be going, oh yeah. I don't know. That's funny, but anyhow.
Did your wife let you? How'd your wife let you leave the house like that?
Like what? Oh yeah, Jimmy would be saying that. Yeah, he can. Sometimes we need to put a governor on
I was
Jimmy.
like, what's your wife feed you today?
Yeah,
I
he
acted
says
like that.
says things like that, and there's no time. Patrick doesn't have the. Don't tell him this, but he doesn't have a mute button, do you?
Oh, I do.
You do?
I think it's really bad now.
It's delayed, isn't it?
Yeah, we got a delay, so gotta be careful.
Personal mute button.
No.
Anyhow, we should all have mute button. Maybe, I look back on, I think every human being on the face of the earth wish they had a mute button for something that they might have said
I don't.
to hurt somebody
No.
over the, you look back and you say, we all wish we had a mute button sometimes, I guess, or a rewind and then replay.
I wish I had a mute for that laugh that I just did.
So, Patrick, how long have we been going now on this question and answer show?
47 minutes.
So that's pretty good, I think. Unless there's other questions or comments, I think that I am done.
Well, Malcolm, we've tried the GoPro idea, and it didn't end well for you, right, Dad? He said put a GoPro on everyone's head. The last time you had a GoPro on your head, you flipped over the handlebars of a bike up in New Hampshire.
And you still have that on film, right? I was lucky I was not injured in any type of a way. Just my pride was injured.
Yeah.
But
Maybe I'll post that on the YouTube channel.
I don't care.
Upholstery goes flying down mountain.
It actually ended well. I didn't get a broken neck. But
Well, everyone's probably picturing you going 100 miles an hour.
I wasn't
The
going.
funny part, you were.
It was slow.
That's why it was funny. You were stalled,
It was like slow motion,
and you
right?
pressed the left brake.
I pressed the
And
wrong.
then-
You mean the front? They shouldn't even put front brakes on mountain bikes. What's the purpose of that?
Supposed to
Patrick?
lightly
Wait a minute.
use them both
Wait a
very
minute.
lightly.
It's not my fault. They shouldn't have front brakes on mountain
They
bikes.
have to.
Why?
Because, like I said, you're supposed to, you have to push it lightly.
Yeah, but you're not. You're going.
You slammed
down.
on it, and it was like watching in slow motion. You tipping slowly over the handlebars.
What does this have to do with upholstery, Pat?
Oh, sorry, I had to bring it up.
Nothing.
Malcolm mentioned a GoPro, that's why.
Well, the GoPro. The
I blame it on
GoPros are
that.
not as good quality either, right? With the film
Now,
quality.
now they're really good.
Are they? But it's interesting though. Only for probably entertainment purposes would I put a GoPro on my head and go into a live class. That would probably be for just entertainment purposes. And guess what? Everybody would have to agree. I have to been finding lately, Patrick.
Right.
People aren't agreeing to being filmed. So
Yeah, we need some characters that'll agree to that, like the people
Well,
who like the spotlight, like Jimmy.
well, Jimmy's a ham. We got a lot of hams. We could get a lot of hams in there, and it'll look like a meat packing locker room, right? Including yours truly, maybe. But anyhow, are we all set with comments?
Well, yeah. Do we have any submissions for Michaela? Any jobs? That came
Oh,
through?
right. Submissions. I forgot about that. I don't have my cell phone on me, so that's not going to go well.
No, we don't anyway.
We don't anyway. It's a good thing because I don't know what I did with my phone.
We've had a lot of class submissions, which we've taken care of. We're trying to figure out our spring schedule.
Well, I guess I should talk about why, the disconcerting thing about not having submissions is those are potential jobs, and why don't we have jobs? Why, when we pay a lot for advertising, I won't say where, but I'm not too happy with the results. I can say that because it's expensive to advertise, expensive to get new clients, chasing new clients. You have to do that. And so when I pay money to do it and the results aren't there, I'm wondering why. So time to look at that again, I guess. And we're not a shop. This isn't a shop of trust fund babies. I can assure you that. We are a shop that needs a certain amount of money in order to survive. So we're always out there, and we're always looking to get more clients. And so, why did I bring that up? Because there weren't any submissions this week.
Yeah, Malcolm made a good point. He said half of advertising expenses are wasted. The trouble is knowing which half.
Exactly.
Well,
I could tell Malcolm has got a head on his shoulders. He knows.
If we knew the right half, we'd only do that.
Right. So we recently increased with one of our advertising. It hasn't done anything. As a matter of fact, it looks like it's got worse. So I don't know about that advertiser. And then
It's the time of year, and Dom, when he came in, he made a good point. Remember, it's before the spring rush.
Yeah, but like I said before, we have to figure out in the slow periods, if we know where there are slow periods, we need to fill that in with something else.
Oh, the classes. That's what we're doing.
The classes we did, we brought in people. Thank God, because that, at least from a psychological standpoint, it brings people in. They might only be spending money for the class. Some people have bought fabrics, Patrick.
Yeah.
So that was good. So it just keeps things rolling along, because every business they have their lulls. I know that. But I get nervous. Patrick could tell you, I get really nervous when it starts. A week goes by or a week and a half when it's, where the calls.
It's just the way small business is, what Malcolm said. It's just the
That's
way it
true.
is,
That's true. So maybe you have to think. You have to be aggressive.
And you never know. I don't know where you get a job like we had a few months ago come through.
Yeah, we had a nice job. That was a nice job. That's for sure. Those nice jobs keep you going too. But anyhow, keep up the good work out there, you guys. If you're in a position where you're a married couple and one person is working in a this is the best case scenario I could say of any small business. A successful small business do have their ups and downs, but if you have a partner that has a full-time job, W-2 income or whatever, an income like that, or is higher up in a company, that's ideal. Those two people together, that's success. That is success. So that would be my advice to anybody out there who wants to do a small business. Hook up with somebody that has those type of incomes. Anyhow, I think that's going to do it, right, Patrick?
Yep, I think we're good. That was a good one.
Yeah, I think we did. I talked a lot. I think I got some content on upholstery out there and about businesses and all that. And
do we have any update on the chair in front of you?
the ribbon chair?
Yeah, when's part
The
2?
fabric's on its way.
Okay.
We're going to have the fabric, and we're really excited. What type of fabric is that, Michaela?
It's a shearling.
Shearling, which is what, like a sheep fabric?
Yeah, it's supposed to mimic sheep.
Awesome. Well,
So
thanks.
so maybe next week we can start filming that?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So,
So
part
thanks.
2's coming.
Part 2's coming, so thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.
Guys.